everyone, and welcome to the Swemp Electronics Football Alliance Division 1. You're looking at the fixtures from last time. Massive win for Phoenix, but more importantly, a first goal of the season for Flamingos. A definite top versus bottom challenge there. The overall table so far looking pretty strong for Phoenix and for East Coast. Three other teams on 9 points, and right down at the bottom, Imaginary Madrid and Flamingos with no points whatsoever. As we look towards today's fixtures, I'm welcoming the manager of Fortuna Deflection, Mr. CM Fortuna. How are you today?
All right, thank you. And yourself?
Oh, I'll do. Yeah, looking forward to a good round of games today, as we see some real classics on there. What are you looking forward to most?
Well, aside from my 10th match against Ewan, 9th versus 10th, I'm looking forward to Phoenix against the Badgers. I think that'll be a real big game, and whoever wins that could set the early pace.
That's a good point. I mean, if you look at it, we've got Phoenix who are scoring and not conceding, and the Badgers who are scoring plenty of goals as well. Defense is doing fine, isn't it, as well? So, yeah, it's going to be a good one. Let's have a look at see what comes up first. It won't be your game first of all. We'll head to this one. This game has been attracting a bit of interest online. The Wanderers of Wolverhampton and Imaginary Madrid. Can Imaginary Madrid get off the mark today? Change of formation for the Wanderers. They've got a defensive midfielder in today.
Yeah, I mean Roy Keane is strong, isn't he, in midfield, and Howsham and Scally as well. It's I mean solid in there, isn't it, in the centre? Narrow formation as well. Been a strong team, good start to the season from the Wanderers. I think they'll have a real good setup for today's game.
Yeah, it's definitely three quite defensive-minded players there, isn't it? Good on the old right-hand column, the lot of them. This season, of course, we've got Javan on really good form with 5 goals for the season, and the defence, as it stands for them, they have conceded as many as they've scored, 9 apiece. So they could be good value for entertainment. Still missing Sudachka and Etherington on the sidelines as well. No place in the lineup for the impressive Antonio Fortes.
Shocking.
I know. They head into the game against Imaginary Madrid, who have gone with this lineup today.
Yeah, they've not had a good start to the season. Imaginary Madrid. I'm sure they've dreamed of better, but it's a great lineup. I mean, instinctively, I'm looking at the defence there: Colaccini, Campo, Barry. I want to switch Barry and Colaccini just with them being right and left-footed respectively. But looking at the lineup, I like the formation, the anchor. I think it sets the team up really well, and I do think this will be a real close game.
Yeah, we've got to obviously hear a debut for Alan Smith on the bench today as well. So see if we can get anything from him maybe a bit later on. There are no plans for substitutes, of course, for either team generally. Actually, today we have a plan for the Wanderers to make 1 substitute, which is unheard of in terms of how they've gone about the season. Referee is today Oyvind Alapness, and we head into the game. Javan scores straight away, 1-0 to the Wanderers. Can keep it on that great scoring record, isn't he?
It's a great start. Yeah, it's not in the best condition today, but it doesn't need to be by the looks of it.
Still banging in the goals. Madrid trying to get back into the game a little bit, but heading forward, Robin on the attack. Barnett's had a chance. And Kesman has equalised, but it's been disallowed. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate for them. A yellow card for Roy Keane. Oh, unexpected. Javan gets a second, 2-0.
A great start, isn't it, for the Wanderers?
And Javan is really leading that team forward. David Collins has got on the score sheet as well for 3-0. And the Wanderers will be heading up higher up that table in the as it stands. A fantastic first half for them, and they go in considerably better than their opponents.
Yeah, they've not had a foot in the game, have they, Imaginary Madrid, so far? Wanderers have just been all over them, and it's that solid midfield. But I suppose with a couple of bookings in there, they'll need to keep the 11 men on the pitch.
Yeah, I suppose that could be their own downfall, couldn't it? Percentage-wise, we are looking pretty even across the pitch, but possession, it's the Wanderers, isn't it? Goals, Javan just basically ran past everyone for the first one. For the second goal, he he's had 2 Scally assists.
I didn't see the first one, but Scally's
think
certainly
it-
playing
I
well.
think
So
it may have
possibly.
been, yeah, and Collins from Robin. So have a look in. Yep, 2 assists for Neil Scally. Substitute plan is for 60 minutes, and it will happen today. For Madrid, yeah, Lampard and Kesman, the old Chelsea connection, not performing.
No, not at all. Smerteen, ex-Chelsea's doing all right though. And Joe Cole likewise on a 6. Robin 7. They just need to start having a foothold in the game and having some shots at goal. But Wanderers have been excellent so far.
Yes, very much so. I think it's more the Wanderers' performance than it is the Madrid one. And Javan has hit the bar, and Robin with a follow-up didn't put it in. Javan's just coming forward all the time, and Lescott has made it 4-0. I think there's more goals in this game, surely.
Shows what we know about a close game, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The substitute is now about to happen, and well, I think Madrid will be relieved to see that it is actually going to be Javan coming off for Ryan Williams, the planned substitution there. Madrid said they have made no plans for changes at all here. Yeah, I will just check that for 1 second. So if you'd like to just fill in for a second.
Yeah, I mean, start second half has been more of the same, hasn't it? Really, Wanderers having most of the ball. At least imagine Madrid have had a shot, but not managed to hit the target yet. Just need to come back into the game, and hopefully the sub for them for the other team will give them the impetus. But at the moment, they're not stepping up at all.
No, they are looking a bit beaten today, aren't they? It is to continue the game straight off. 60th minute substitute works perfectly. And David Collins has seen Cudicini off his line and put it in for 5-0.
What a performance!
It's certainly that little tactic tweak has worked particularly well. Everybody's playing well for the side. Madrid have some thinking to do as we approach the end of the match, and a very, very comfortable win sees a 5-0 win with David Collins taking man of the match with a perfect 10.
Yeah, thoroughly deserved. I mean, the stats tell it all, don't they? Wanderers were just all best runs, and it was close either way. But I mean, they've just blown them away, haven't they? The Wolves there.
They have. They've huffed and puffed. And yeah, similar kind of stats to the first half, a little bit more central. Obviously, the goal tally dropped. Well, didn't drop in the second half, but you know what I mean. Possession dominated. I mean, for your worst players to be on 7s, it's a good sign. Pellet's only come out with an 8 despite doing very, very little.
He must have looked good while he was doing it.
Yeah, well, that's it. He's performed well, whatever he's done. And yeah, the sort of shining bits: Ashley Cole, Ivan Campo, Alexis Smerteen. As you mentioned in the first half, Smerteen doing okay. Well, what a great start to the show. We're heading now to Flamingos, who this time Alan Finette's asked you to pick the side, and you have come up with this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a hospital pass, isn't it, away to Hulls, who've been performing really well. But Flamingos coming off the back of the first goal last week. I've just tweaked it a little bit. I probably would have liked to put a couple of fullbacks in there, but there's no one really who can play fullback. So instead, I've gone for this formation, and I've set the team up as well to play defensively, because we see a lot of attacking formations in the league. So I'm just hoping play it defensive, counter attack, and see if we can get a goal on the break
and keep the score low.
Keep the score low, keep it tight for at least 10 minutes, and then we're in the game.
Yeah, I mean, you could say about your back 6 that you got here, it's as easy as ABC, isn't it, really, for what you've picked based on the initials of the surnames. Yeah, Christensen to get a debut. and Des on the bench today. So let's see what can happen here. Going into the game with Estefania as captain as well, isn't it? So a change of leader for Hulls. They've made a few changes. We've lost Raul. Dede also injured. A couple of contracts have been offered there. Ronaldinho still not quite returned, but the squad does not seem any weaker.
No, I think the saving grace for Flamingos is they've got a couple of players out. But yeah, I mean it's a real strong team, isn't it, that they've got there, and certainly the formation that they're playing as well. They're going to be strong in the midfield, so we'll need that back 5 or 6 to play really well and at the best. And so if we can get a few shots at goal and maybe get a goal or two, who knows?
Who knows indeed. Just bearing in mind, the last game Hulls took their first defeat, but against the East Coast side, who sit second in the table before today, and looking very good. So squad number wise, Belletti and Danielson get theirs because they're in the squad for the first time this season. Eva Eriksson taking referee, and we have a gusty drizzle at 24 degrees. What a combination of weather we've got there. Straight into the game in Valhalla. And the defence has worked for the first 8 minutes. And a chance.
I'm just hoping that I can do them proud.
Well, Alex has scored for 1-0. Yeah. He's the one person who's performing particularly well at the moment. Cafu's had a chance. And Cafu's involved again as Elbert gets towards goal. Figo's put one just over the bar, I think that was. May have been completely wrong. And Cafu again, probably the most attacking player on the pitch at the moment.
I'm thrilled with the start so far. 1-0's not so bad. We're getting forward a little bit more now too.
Yeah, there's a bit more pink on the screen, certainly, isn't there, at this point? But Hulls are always dangerous. For the first half to be going in at 1-0, Flamingos are going to be pleased, and the Yarstein performance is particularly impressive there.
Yeah, he's doing well. Not so pleased with the captain's performance from Estefania, but I mean, there's only been one shot going forward, and Estefania is a forward player, so I think I'll try and keep it tight until 60 minutes, and then if it's still only a couple of goals in it, then I might make a little tactical tweak.
Okay, well, yeah, just looking into the action areas, very, very much played in the Flamingos' third, and 2/3 of the ball. That's one of the highest percentage stats that we've seen this season. 66% Hulls with the ball. First half performance-wise, Elbert is lower, but he did start at 90%. They'll go on to 60 minutes. Alex, Paredes, and Elbert doing a good job so far, and it's been casual from them. I think they've not battered the side, but Flamingos have held out well.
Yeah, I've been impressed with the team so far defensively, and I say Estefan is the only one on a 5, but he's an attacking mid, so he won't see too much of the ball. Although he's the highest passer, isn't he? Looking at it, so he just needs to get his shots on target and start passing it better.
Yeah, just not winning his tackles, but he's not known for his tackling, and he's the one who missed the shot. So it's kind of things not working quite so well for him, but there's still time into the second half. It's been a quiet start to both halves, hasn't it? And a penalty, and Julia scores. It's 2-0. Will that break open the floodgates? We will see. 60 minutes substitutions. A chance for Elbert just off. It gets to that 58-60 minute time, and it's like I keep looking at the clock rather than watching the commentary. So always, if I miss anything, just let me know at those points. Condition wise, well, we can see Elbert's drop now, and if we have a look at the instructions from Hulls, if an attacker's at 6 or 7 to bring on someone, I mean, Elbert's at 9. There is no game for 10 days.
Got to come off.
Figo is definitely going to be coming off.
He's dying.
Yeah, I think that it will be to manage this where necessary, won't it? That Figo.
I think Rogerio's pretty good there, isn't he? So
yeah, he could always just come in and fill in with his free kicks, couldn't he, in midfield? It's probably set up for Gerard, isn't it? He's the one who usually comes on in this position.
Yeah, I would say so. There's only really him or Belletti can play right side, can he? But he's more defender, isn't he?
Yeah. Or potential injury for Elbert, then we will remove him. I know he's on a 9, but 75% and carrying an injury then that is the logical thing to do. We won't switch the forwards round at this point, even though it's a possibility. Flamingos wise, substitutions. Who's going to be flying off the pitch? Just to check the ratings for you there. A few more fives appearing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to sacrifice Campos with his booking now. So Dennis Kagara can come on as his replacement. Other than that, I mean, we've probably got to get forward and get a goal more. So if we just tweak the team instructions a little bit to normal rather than the defensive.
Oh, we've not been changing tactics during the middle of the game so far. So
Okay, that's all right.
Is Estefania going to stay on in his captain terrible performance, or are we going to see the introduction of an old Samoan? Or
we're going to bring on Stanislav instead of Oscar Estefania. We're going to give him a run out.
There we go. And is that it just for the two?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'll keep a third with it not being my team.
And yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Yarstein's still on the 8 there. Okay, we head back into the match. And the Pinks definitely getting a bit more involved, but that might have been the fact that they were being substituted. Seeing more of that
we'll
on
say
screen.
It was attacking, but
Amoroso has come on, and I believe it may have been a Gerrard assist. So the substitutes worked well, and Junior scores a second penalty.
I mean, that's terrible, isn't it? They must be getting tired now. I think Didar's just parried one away, so it looks like they've had a shot.
They've had a shot, and Clayton has dropped to a 4.
Yeah, I think he gave away the penalty.
It's a comfortable victory, but only 4 conceded. We'll have a look at how the goals were scored. Alex with a header from an Albert cross for the first one. In the second half, it was a foul by Campos, going straight through Ronaldo. Goal number 3 was an Amoroso from Gerrard. Yep, so the 2 substitutions, and it was Clayton taking down Emerson, as you said. Stats wise, 16 shots, 12 on target.
Yeah, I mean they've battered Flamingos, haven't they, with the defensive stats, but had a shot on target, shot off target too. I know they had plenty of shots on target last time, but they've kept the score down. So it's disappointing to concede 2 penalties, I think, because without that, it could have been a little less than 4, 2 or 3, for example. But yeah, I mean, it's not been the worst performance, and it gives them a bit more defensive.
No, second half performance other than the goals, it was they clawed back some possession, but you see, the attackers were really on display, weren't they, for Hulls?
Yeah, Hulls are a good team. I think they'll be right up the top near the end of the season. They've played really well. If you look at all their forward positions, defence didn't have too much to do defensively, and Junior's obviously nabbed himself a couple of goals from the penalty spot.
Yeah, that's his first start. Replacement for Dede, who's been injured, and he gets himself 2 goals. Not the greatest performance defensively, but Harbutsi and Aquilani come up with some credit, those 2 more central midfield players.
Yeah, Clayton's not covered himself in glory, certainly that last since the subs. I think he must have been on a 6 before then, and he's gone downhill. But yeah, Harbutsi's played well in centre mid, Aquilani in defensive mid as well. So I've seen not so well towards the end, but still 7's a pretty decent away to this team.
And it'll be interesting just to check the goal difference at the end of the round to see if they've stayed behind or have gone ahead of Imaginary Madrid. Iron Curtain United, who have named Roman Vasiliuk on their substitutes bench for today. So they've made a couple of changes, a couple of enforced ones, the suspension of Smirtin and Volodenkov being injured. Tamilovic keeps his place on the bench, which means that Berezovsky's been dropped entirely in favour of the recall of Nigmatulin.
Yeah, it wasn't the best result for them last time. 2-2 draw, wasn't it, with Ewan? But looking at the team again, they're a real good team. There's not a weakness in amongst them as you'd expect from the Iron Curtain. They'll be hard to penetrate. They look really solid, and they've got some good attacking players going forward too.
Yeah, Milevski's moved into the defensive midfield position with Smirtin's absence. Romoshenko's come forward from the defence into midfield. Nikiforenko's moved to one side, and Mostovoy switched over to replace Karpin, who's on the bench but only at 88% for today. no captain named for this. They will be going ahead with Shevchenko captain the side, and they're up against Trafford. And Trafford, despite missing Nestor and Okoronkwo, can still name a strong team. It's one where the fullbacks don't make runs forward, but they obviously have plenty going for them. Sigalko and Van Nistelrooy up front together, scoring between them so far 4 goals. Are you still here, Mr. Fortuna?
I'm still here.
That's
Apologies,
good.
I'm having some connection problems, I think.
That makes sense. Yes, I just thought I'd fill in the dead air space. You can continue with your analysis.
Yeah, I mean, Condola and Cafu, the Roma fullbacks, you don't find a better pair, I don't think, in the game. And I think the formation's worked fairly well so far for this team, hasn't it? Again, it's full of absolute stars in there. So they'll be up there. I mean, they can afford to have Shevchenko on the bench. Never mind set him as the captain of the team.
Very true.
I think it'll make for a real good game today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a game I've been looking forward to since seeing that fixture list last time. Cafu named as captain today, and we're heading to the game at the Kremlin. Sigalko's come forward with a chance early on. Oh, Trafford not quite having the answers that Iron Curtain are hitting them at the moment, are they? Shevchenko involved, yeah. Barry Ferguson takes the first notable thing of the game, a yellow card. A pile driver of a shot coming in, but dealt with well from Trafford, and who scored through Cannavaro against the run of play, it must be said.
Yeah, just pretty much the first attack, wasn't it?
But a goal from Milevski filling in that position there. Smirty better be watching out for his position. Wherever Milevski plays, he's doing a good job. Another 8 so far this match. 10 minutes to go in the first half. And a penalty turned down for Iron Curtain. Cannavaro with another chance. And with the last 5 minutes of the half, he went back against the goal.
No, the tide's turned, doesn't it? It's end to end at the moment.
And end of the first half, seeing it's not the game for Sigalko at all, is it? With 2 6s, we've had Cannavaro scoring with a Barry Ferguson corner, and Milevski from a Mostovoy corner as well. So both goals from set pieces.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a Trafford penalty shout, rather than the Iron Curtain earlier on. But yeah, Trafford have really turned it around after that start by the Iron Curtain, and it's going end to end. So either team could win this. I wouldn't really like to call it.
No, I think you're right about the penalty shout. Actually, looking back on it and seeing a whole lot of gold, probably be exactly that. Very evenly split percentage, just being edged on possession. Looking at the players, I mean, there are a few players who are a little bit off key, but no one really disappointing so far.
No, that's it. Like you say, Sigalkos aren't doing well for either team, but they're always good for a goal, aren't they, at some point? So it's I wouldn't rule out them scoring.
No, the change obviously with Smirty being dropped, Milevski's gone into midfield doing a great job, and Janovski's come in and filled in for Milevski with a great first half as well. We're going to the Trafford side, who, they are getting they're having more chances, but they haven't quite performed as well as you'd maybe expect.
No, there's a lot of 7s in there, isn't there? Emerson's in midfield with an 8, but the forward players haven't really got going. So yeah, although they're shooting, it's you don't know how far out they are or how likely they are to score. They've had that penalty shout, haven't they? And so they have come into it, but it could be either team could win.
That's true, and they are withdrawing Sigalko for Shevchenko on account of being below 85% at half time. So Shevchenko comes on up front. There's nobody else below 85 there on that point.
That's right,
good.
Yeah.
Okay, second half kicks off. And now with 2 Shevchenkos and 2 Sigalkos up front, it's going to be an interesting last half hour here.
Well, lucky you've replaced one at Sigalkos.
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm just completely off it on there, aren't I? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, substitution times for both teams. We have got for Iron Curtain, it's basically if needed to be doing the first change here. Nikiforenko's dropped to 77, and Mostovoy at 78. Performance-wise, I don't know. I'd probably be slightly more concerned by Mostovoy's percentage than Shevchenko's. Forward-wise, Vasiliuk for Sigalko would make sense, wouldn't it, with Sigalko's performance as it is?
Yeah, I think so. Having Vasiliuk on the bench, you always want him on your bench, don't you? So it's good to bring him on.
Would you take off one of those two midfielders, Mostovoy maybe? For
yeah, I think so. There's only 1% between them, isn't there? Mostovoy's only on a 7, so I'd bring Igor Titov on. I think out of the lot of those, unless you've any other thoughts.
The suggestion is Bezrodny, so Bezrodny will come on.
Well, yeah.
For Mostovoy, and that would just allow the switch over that way for Bezrodny, left hand side, leaving the third sub free for them. And for Trafford, their substitution is so looking at the same thing again. Barry Ferguson's going to be withdrawn here, isn't he? He's on a yellow card, and he's also dropped percentage-wise. Patrick Vieira looks like the obvious candidate to come in with Emerson moving further forward.
Vieira's also centre mid, I think. So yeah, Emerson's natural centre mid, isn't he? So yeah, makes sense.
That would. And obviously, otherwise here, 2's fine if they're fit and okay. I mean, would you either take off the booked Cannavaro or the condition low Zidane?
I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? I try and keep to 2 where possible. I mean, Zidane's not injured, I don't think, is he? If he's not injured, I'd keep him on. If he's injured, I'd hook him at 80%. Cannavaro on the booking is, I mean, it's neither here nor there really. I think hopefully he should be able to stay on the pitch, but you never know, do you?
Yeah, and I think without a centre back on the bench, it would be a bit wrong to take off Cannavaro.
Yeah.
So there we go, heading into the last half hour.
Drozdov had a great start to the second half, by the way, hasn't he, with a 9?
Oh yeah, absolutely, good spot. Cafu's taking a booking, Drozdov's taking a booking now, and we've got for 20 minutes to go. It's been end to end for this second half. Parthenov's really involved. But there's Cannavaro's red card. There was nothing really that we could have done there, to be honest. It's just nothing. I mean, it'll be a case of replacing a forward, I think, here.
Yeah, I think so. I'd probably pull someone like Zidane and move one of the forwards back.
Yeah.
But as to who you bring on, you're going to have to fill someone in like Zanetti, maybe centre back. I don't know if he's any better than Vieira, centre back.
Yeah, it's not going to be a Roberto Carlos job, is it? So obviously the logic behind not substituting him, there's nothing really that could have been done. So with Veron going into there, Zidane being withdrawn for... Yeah, it's going to be Zanetti.
I'm going to say for experience, but I can't remember how old he is on this. Not as old as Cafu.
I can't take Cannavaro off. No, can't take Cannavaro off. That would be a strange little substitute there, allowing the red card player to go off. Yeah, it appears that that's probably the best way around it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Vieira, you don't really want to put in at centre back. I mean, the only other worry is Cafu on the booking in a 5, but I mean, there's not an awful lot else you can do. You need the defenders on the pitch with the people on the bench.
Yeah, very true. So, well, we go into the last 15-20 minutes of the match with it poised with the red card now, but nothing much happening. Shevchenko's had a chance. It's not been his day, really. He's playing okay, but he's shooting-wise not had his boots on. Bezrodny's taking a yellow card towards the end, and we are looking like play towards a draw. Speak too soon? No, we're going to 1-1. Another draw for Ryan Curtin. They'll be a lot happier with this one than they would have been the other day.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a fair result on reflection. I think Trafford had the better start to the second half and the better end to the first half. But I mean, with the red card at the end, it's Iron Curtain came close, I think, with a couple of chances. But I think both teams have performed fairly well. It was an entertaining game the first half. Second half fizzled out a little bit, but not a bad game overall.
No, absolutely fine to watch, wasn't it? Little bits of tension in there. Teams have got about 10 days to rest after this one. The international round won't see anybody from the league called up, so players can recover. Nicky Franco down to 69, not a concern really. Passing quite well spread out between the Iron Curtain players.
Yeah, they work well as a team, don't they?
Definitely, it is that approach of everyone working together. And for Trafford, I mean, yep, Cafu's not had the best game, but they've done okay.
Yeah, Santi Njai's played well at centre back. Cannavaro's had a mixed bag with the goal and the couple of bookings. But yeah, the strikers just weren't on the game today, where they had a few shots, but 7s and 6s from a lot of them. Barry Ferguson played well, but had a booking, so and was tired, wasn't he? So yeah, I think it was a fair reflection of 1-1. I think either team would have been disappointed to have lost.
Yeah, it's a real good performance there from Njai, isn't it? With their 5 tackles being key. Yeah, and both goalkeepers have come out with decent performances from the match there as well. Okay, into the next match, and we go to Bolton Phoenix versus the Boothstown Badgers, which that game I think that a lot of people have been looking forward to today. You can see a couple of players out injured for Phoenix. Contract has been offered to Montero. Oh no, and it hasn't actually. He just wants a new challenge, Montero, doesn't he? Yeah, Radaby called into the squad for the first time.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see Radaby get some action potentially. At least he's on the bench in case there's a red in this game. But again, we see a similar setup to the Wanderers really with that formation. Again, there's not a weak link in there, is there? And they've played well so far, Bolton Phoenix, certainly defensively. So
yeah, just the one against. Yeah, these have been using this formation all season so far to really good effect. And it's not a surprise that some of the teams are going towards this setup really. Yeah, 11 goals scored, 1 conceded, and it's not there's not really a weak link anywhere, is there?
no, I mean the only question you'd have really against the team is Dennis Bergkamp up top by himself, but he's a quality player, isn't he? Whereas Batistuta's on the bench, but Bergkamp will, he'll get goals and assists anyway, won't he? So I mean that's the only one I would potentially swap, but who am I to argue with someone up there in the league?
Yeah, very much so. We go into this one. Lucas Radaby, number 10 shirt. Oh no, not the number 10 shirt.
That's a disappointment, isn't it?
Very disappointing to see that. Badgers, always good value for their entertainment in the games. An 88% fit David Collins. I mean, he's still going to be a lot better than some other players. So yeah, give him a go.
Well, but Badgers totally outclassed my team last week and played really well. So I was never in the game really. So I think 88% fit David Collins would still score 2 or 3 past my team. So I wouldn't discount him from getting on the score sheet tonight as well. It's I mean the formation worked wonders in the last game, and perhaps it can do something similar tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they took a bit of criticism in the early season from some of the pundits that were on saying it was a bit of a defensive looking setup. So Tato Mourinho has gone for a much more attacking sort of lineup. It really has paid off. Debut for Frederick Clausen in midfield and Tony Sullivan on the bench. And obviously you were very impressed with the hospitality that you received when you were there the other day.
Oh, absolutely wonderful. The team couldn't have asked for any more from a gracious host with stew and scones, and it was a lovely experience to be there. We'll try and welcome the same to our ground on the return leg.
And I've known you a long time. I didn't know you said scones, so it's lowered my opinion there, I'm afraid. We head into the match with that bombshell, and Clausen and Sullivan take the numbers. Number 3 still vacant for Boothstown. Christopher Helgerud managing the game, refereeing. Badgers in their away kit today. And we've had a chance already, but Javan has pulled one out of the hat there and taken the lead for Badgers. Only the second goal conceded by Phoenix in this, their 5th match. Fantastic start to them. Clausen's involved. Barnett has scored, and it's 2-0.
They've only had 2 chances, I think, haven't they? They've very clinical.
Absolutely. Fantastic performance so far. Simeone's got one back, and we knew we were going to get entertainment, but I don't think I'd seen 3 goals in the first 25 minutes. Is that just over the bar or off the top of the bar, with a chance there for Phoenix as well?
It's been an entertaining start, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Following the text is it's quite hard to spot all the chances that are on there. And
it's terrific, the red and blue, isn't it? It's good that we're not colourblind.
It's against Flamingos. That would have been interesting. We go into the end of the first half, a last chance for both teams there. Nope, even more going on. David Collins makes it 3-1. Well, a lot of injury time. Let's take a look at the match report. We've got Javan. Well, he's taken it from a clearance from Collins, taking it forward. I mean, it's sort of got that reminder of like a Michael Owen against Argentina goal, where he didn't actually take on that many players, but he's ran with the ball a lot and shot it in.
Yeah, continue bringing the ball forward a couple of times, didn't he? He really had a good solo goal there.
Yeah, no real pressure, but he's done very well with it. And Collins involved again, a header that Carnes parried and Barnett's put in. A great chance. Well, it's probably a tap-in. Simeone getting on the end of a Rui Costa free kick that wasn't cleared by David Priest. And the goal at the end of the first half there, it's a bit of payback from Javan creating something, Oliver Kahn not quite dealing with it, and Collins scoring a goal, roaming forward unmarked. Well, Badgers, look at that.
Yeah, they've been absolutely clinical, hasn't it? It's ironic to note that on the day that Michael Owen's goal against Argentina has been recreated, that Diego Simeone's had a strong part to play for the opposition. But Badgers have done really well. 7 shots on target. Unfit David Collins, you'd questioned him before the game, and he's got on the score sheet and had a part in the other goals as well. So they've been excellent so far. And Phoenix have had the moments too, so can't rule them out just yet. But good performance by Badgers so far.
Yes, very good performance from Badgers, and obviously, Phoenix were top of the league for a reason before this game. Stat-wise, Montero still playing very, very well. Marcel Desailly, but a few players yet to get going.
Yeah, that's it. And it's Simeone's looking a little bit jaded compared to the rest of the team. Is he? Desai and Montero playing fairly well, which just sort of shows you that they have been under the cosh a bit. But if they get Rivaldo and Bergkamp and Zidane, the forward players, onto 7s and 8s, then they could come back into it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a 60-minute change around maybe for them. Collins, very good performance. He's not classed with any assists because of what's happened, but I think he should have an assist for the Javan first goal, because he's just cleared it and Javan's got on the end of it.
He maybe just had the ball for that long. It's just counted as his own goal.
Yeah, so no assists apart from maybe Oliver Kahn is probably creating some of the chances himself, really, I think, at this point. Subs for Badgers is at 60 minutes as well, so we'll go into that second half. And Collins has had a chance again. I think Kahn's had to make 2 stops there in quick succession.
Yeah, slow start from Phoenix. Would hope they've had a few more efforts to get back into it to make it a more even game.
Yes, yeah. So the spot of Simeone, I think he does need to come off at this point. I think it's, when they're chasing the game, it's probably better to bring Scholl into the game rather than Petit.
Yeah, I would say so. Scholl's a quality centre midfielder, isn't he? So he's always good for a goal.
Performance-wise, I think Zidane's not really cutting it in the game. Would you bring on Batistuta or Baggio?
Are there any certain instructions for this, or is it?
It's manage the game where you think is most relevant.
Yeah, I'd probably bring on Batistuta, I think, and drop Bergkamp back into Zidane's role if you're looking at taking Zidane off.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, Zidane's just he's not really turned up, has he? And so Bergkamp dropping back into midfield. For Badgers, well, I think they'll be pretty happy with what's going on. Attack if losing, and if Collins goes off, bring on an attacker. Now, David Collins at 73 with a potential injury, I think that is a sign of you do need to take him off, would you say?
I would if it was myself managing. You don't want to lose him for a couple of weeks, do you? Later down the line, although it's an international break. I think at 73%, he's not going to last the full game in good health. So it's just a question of who to bring on, really, isn't it?
Well, the instruction of bring on an attacker, I think that the best attacker on the bench is Luke Beckett to be able to bring in, who has come off the bench
I
to good
quite
effect.
often play as a striker in that attacking midfield role. I do it with Dunwell fairly often.
Yeah,
I'd be happy with that if that were my team.
I don't think they need to make any other changes going forward. They've I know Huckabee's dropped down a bit, but we don't have specific injury things there. But Collins does have to go off with that sort of percentage into the last half hour of the match, and Badgers are still putting themselves about a bit and causing more problems than Phoenix are.
Yeah, they're having a lot of the ball, aren't they?
Khan's been a lot more involved this half in a positive way for his team. Khan again involved. Beckett's getting forward a bit more. And Batistuta's put one wide, but great football by Phoenix. Dennis Bergkamp moves back into midfield and pulls one back 3-2 to Badgers. And at the very last minute of the game, Shaw's had a chance, but 3-2 to Badgers. They come out victorious, despite the fact that the man of the match is sat on the other side and such great performances from quite a few players.
Yeah, Phoenix came back into it in the last 15, 20 minutes or so. But Badgers had a great first half, didn't they? 7 out of 7 on target, and not had so many shots second half, just absorbed a bit of the pressure. Phoenix have done well with, like you said, a few players. Montero defensively done well. Bergkamp, Simeone both played well. So although they've had a loss, they're still going to be up there, and Badgers have just put them to the sword today with some clinical finishing.
Some very, very strong finishing. Just the overall team performance for Badgers, they'll be very impressed with that. Rivaldo to Batistuta, Batistuta into Bergkamp, and the finish there for Dennis Bergkamp. So fantastic. Yep, the Phoenix performance. Yeah, we see those players. Montero making lots of key challenges. And Bergkamp probably did perform better when he went back into midfield.
He did, but he played all right up front. He had a 7. It's just one of them things, I think, isn't it, where they're on the attack a bit more for his rating to go up. So I wouldn't say it's they've had a 60-minute makeover and a remarkable change. It's just been one of them things.
But what a performance there! No absolute standouts, just a really solid team performance. And this team are impressing this season, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Clausen's done well in his debut to get an 8. But yeah, the 3 goals in the first half, wasn't it? They're just real clinical in front of goal and took the chances. Dave Barnett's got on the score sheet, so they're piling in from all angles out there. The formation change they made last week's worked wonders the last couple of games, and they look an early favourite.
They'll be top 3 maybe at the end of this game, I think. So we go into the next one. We've got Falaraki versus Atletico Alumwell. And Falaraki's team, a few changes again, and actually I think it's a small change of system compared to last match.
Yeah, this formation looks familiar, doesn't it? Having watched the last game, but again, some real good players in this team. Soroczynski in defensive mid. I've not seen him in the centre of defensive mid, so that'll be interesting to see how he plays, because he's a very good player. But I normally have him on the flanks. Maresca sat on the bench, so and Maicon. So again, a couple of newbies are in there. So I like the team. It's a mixed bag of some top players and some up and coming players. So there's only John Terry that could probably do with getting dropped.
Yes, indeed. Their last match, a win over at Imaginary Madrid. Formation-wise, they actually have made quite a big change. As soon as I said it's only a small change, they've gone from a back 4 to a back 3, and that's probably why there's so many personnel changes towards this match. But they have got some squad number selections. That's Maresca. He's taking the number 16 shirt, and Maicon at 13. So they're up against Atletico Lunwell, who I believe you played out a 0-0 draw with recently.
Yeah, I think so. That rings a bell. They're a solid team in defence, and hence the nil. Ilola's come in today, and again he'll strengthen up that defensive midfield area. But Bonk and Javan up front, I think it's the first time Bonk's performed tonight, hasn't it? So those
Yes,
two
yeah, I think
are
so.
always likely to get a goal. I like the team. I think they'll be decent value for a few good games in the league this season.
Yeah, and last game a win over the Racers, who started the season very well and have just sort of fizzled out a bit. But the team performance from Lunwell was definitely deserving of the victory for them. Still, now they're missing Ibrahim Saeed. He's injured in the last match, and is that both teams without an Ibrahim Saeed today? I think it is for this, and they would both usually play him. Potentially, no, it might just be Atletico who are doing that. I might be making things up today. Number 24 for Ilola. Harold Hansen refereeing in a breezy, wet 8-degree match.
Big temperature difference, isn't there, in some of these?
Huge. Suppose it's closer yet, maybe towards the Arctic Circle. Geography lesson there rather than football. 11-12 minutes in, Echiog's taken a warning. And there haven't been any clear-cut chances. Frey's made a save and Javan's put in a rebound, and it's 1-0 as Sigalko tried to head back for Falaraki straight away. Halfway through the first half, it's got a little bit quiet in the game and in the commentary box, and we've approached half an hour with still not that many chances. John Terry, as you called before, the one who should be out of the team, is the worst performer on the pitch. And
it was just personal attack, nothing more.
And coming up to half-time, Sigalko's been a little bit, I don't want to call it too early, he's been a little bit wasteful for all teams today. And a 1-0 lead for Lunwell at half-time. Their defence is still solid, and they've not had as many chances, but they've done well with what they've got.
Yeah, it's come in flashes, hasn't it? The game has had quiet periods, and then a spell of some heavy action. And as you can see there, Falaraki are making most of the play, but they've been hit on the break with 1 out of 2 for Lunwell. So yeah, as we said before, they're set up solidly, aren't they? The away team don't concede too many goals, so it'll be hard for Falaraki to get back in, but certainly not out of the question with the way they performed first half.
Yeah, with having good, I mean, that's probably the highest percentage you see for a long time there for a team attacking, especially that they're behind and they've had 40% of the ball in that third. Performance-wise, yeah, John Terry's not put a tackle in this game. And yeah, Soroczynski, one of the standouts with Owen Hargreaves and Ronaldinho for Falaraki.
Yeah, let me make it clear that John Terry on the game is fairly good. It was a personal attack, so he may well come in the second half and get a couple of goals, and that is nothing to do with me. But yeah, I think that they just need to start improving in an attacking sense. Like you say, Sigalko's not at his best so far. He's playing number 2 to match the shirt on his back. But him and Collins on a 6. I mean, they're good for goals, aren't they, at some point? So it could go either way still, this one.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I think performance-wise, both teams are quite similar. There's nothing to. I mean, Kiotis has obviously had the things to do, and Ilola's coming for a decent debut, but it's not the greatest sort of stand-up performances for many players.
No, Ekikanga's looking a bit ropey, isn't he, condition-wise, and having that booking. So he needs to play carefully in this second half. But yeah, 6s and 7s again from a lot of them. Like you say, Lola and Kiotis are playing well, but it's just a fairly quiet performance from both teams. If anyone steps up in the second half, then that could make all the difference.
It could do, and Ekikanga's got 15 minutes left on the pitch before he's replaced into the second half. And Falaraki have come out going for it. We've had a chance already, and then we've gone quiet again. So is it just as you say, fits and starts in this match, isn't it? Definitely. Sigalko with another chance, But a goal, an equaliser from Sigalko. He finally gets a goal for today.
That's what happens when you question Maxim Sigalko, isn't it? And I questioned Soroczynski before the game in defensive midfield, and he's putting in a worldly performance this second half. So I didn't say he'd be terrible. I just say I'll never seen him there before. So he's certainly proving that he can play there.
Yeah, he's doing a decent job, definitely. Iron Robin was one that was headlined for a change. Rafael van der Vaart to come onto the pitch for him. Etu for an attacking mid. Ronaldinho's fitness is lower, but how's he performing? He's on a 7, and Collins on a 7 as well. I think that Ronaldinho would be the one to come off there.
Yeah,
it would make more sense.
Like you say, the ratings are the same.
And that was for Samuel Etu. And any injuries, if obvious? I mean, we've got 2 at 81. I don't think they're blindingly obvious to be down there. Nope. So they will stick with the opportunity of a third choice substitute a bit later on. For Alumwell, they have called the substitute of Ekikanga to come off for Freddie Ljungberg, and it's Richard Langley for Antonio Cassano is the other substitute that we've got there.
Should make it interesting for last half hour.
Yeah, a couple of changes to both sides, freshen it up and see if anyone can come and do a performance like Soroczynski can for the rest of the game. Well, Bobby Petter is looking a bit more lively for Alumwell at this point. And then we got the players. I think the players have had a big night out last night, it seems. There was words of something happening amongst the Alumwell players. 1-1, 10 minutes to go. And then Bobby Petter has scored after Javan doing a good attack there. Petter 2-1 to Alumwell into the last few minutes now. And it's that being the winning goal. Javan's put one a bit wide. And yep, 2-1, Bobby Petter with the winning goal. Javan man of the match. And based on the first half performance of being in the lead there, I don't think the second half went either way specifically. So Alumwell probably just edged it.
Yeah, I think so. They had three shots in the second half on target, didn't they? And 3 more off target. So they probably had the better of the play in the second half. And I mean, it was going to be 1 goal either way, wasn't it? If any team was going to win, no one was going to run away with it. I think Falaraki are unlucky. They played fairly well, and but Alumwell are, like we said, they're a strong team. They made a couple of good subs to get them back into it, and a couple of players have showed up with Javan with an 8.
Yeah, I mean, the players moved out of that third a little bit more over the game. 50-50 possession. Yeah, as you called it, to be even enough with the game. It was Javan just scored a follow-up to Ekakanga's shot earlier on for the opening goal. And in the second half, we've had Sigalko with a David Collins assist after realising he wasn't going to be able to shoot. And the winning goal, a Javan layoff, and Bobby Petter scores the goal. His first goal for the club. And Joe Cole's taken a little knock at the end of the game there for Falaraki. Bonera moving into the back 3 for the game hasn't really worked out for him. He played right back last game.
No, he's...
Nope, the sound has just dropped out a little bit. Just speak when you come back.
I mean, Terry's come well to get some. But yeah, Soroczynski did well in front of the back 3, didn't he? So there are some positives as well to take.
Yeah, you just ended up speaking like John Barnes then, because it just sped up really fast after you came back. So
I was saying something about holding and giving and doing it at the right time.
Yeah, and he did get to the line by going fast rather than slow at that point. So some decent performances there. Soroczynski and Sigalko with his first decent performance of the day. Frey did end up not playing quite as well as he might have expected to. Kiotis still held out. Rustico improved. Bobby Petter, Javan, and Bonk. So yeah, they have had some players coming on and doing well, and Robbie's done a good job to guide his team to a victory here.
Yeah, real good performance, and they've played well in the few games so far. So I think they'll definitely be safe and somewhere challenging, maybe in the middle section.
Yeah, it will take a real effort to get into that sort of top 5 at the end of the season from some of the teams. But if you finish top half in this division with a squad that isn't as worldy as the other ones, you've done a really good job with it. And next game, we've got Wacky Racers versus East Coast. The Racers for today, Giggs has come back. Giggs is back in the team, and we've lost a defender. Partridge is in for Barnard, who is unfit this game. With his 3 for stamina, it makes a bit of sense, doesn't it? Still no place for Dean Saunders, and Jason Kumas has dropped to the bench.
Yeah, I mean, Racers lost 3-2, I think, last time out, didn't they? But they've played well in the first couple of games of the season. It'd be interesting to see Partridge at fullback because Barnard's played not fairly well so far. 97-98 legend Rob Page has moved on to the bench. So they have got some strength in depth too.
Yeah, there's certainly a few players who can cause problems in the other parts of the ranks here. Chris Coleman came out of the blocks and has just dropped a little bit, but maybe he can get back for Jamie Hopkins for this game. Will he be able to perform? They're up against obviously a team that have some real talent in there. Started the game second place, East Coast, who have brought in Luis Enrique today. I know you're a fan.
Yeah, I like Luis Enrique wherever he plays. Really, I've played him all over the pitch. Left wing is probably not his most natural position because his most natural position is anywhere. But so yeah, I think I did consider him for my squad actually, but obviously he chose the wages on offer at East Coast and the training facilities. So I think I like the formation. I think some are a bit different to what we see in the others, and it's a few different names in here too.
Yeah, and your old favourite at centre back again.
Yeah, Martin Keown. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, they've got a few ideas, and we started to look at thinking who would be a substitute goalkeeper if you'd made all your substitutes. And the decision here for East Coast is a forward who can jump well. So that will be an interesting one for a bit later on. Paulo Montero, the number 27 in a 25-man squad. Stig Rune Krokdal. Oh yes, he's got some bite in him, hasn't he? This referee.
He'll watch them snap into some tackles.
Nick Nastali Arena is seeing plenty of attacking going on so far, and most of it is coming to East Coast. And Barijo with a chance there. Holding out Paul Jones, just about holding out so far from this one. We had a yellow card for Edgar Davids. We've seen some surprises tonight, and that's not one of them. Luis Enrique doing some good dribbling around there. Davids with a chance this time. And Chris Coleman takes a yellow card. Two centre backs. Yeah, they are both centre backs, aren't they? Melville and Coleman.
Yeah, they're going to have to be careful, aren't they?
They are. It may be a substitution required there for them. East Coast still having the majority of the game without anyone making that breakthrough. Lee Boy is looking the best player on the pitch at the moment. Jones being called up towards an 8 and back down again. And half time is approaching, and a chance for Salva just wide. And back up the pitch, Barrijo takes a yellow card. That's 5 yellows. You're not wrong about Crocodile.
No, East Coast have had a majority of players, you can see by the stats there, but Racers are holding their own so far. There's, like you said, five yellow cards, fairly even split on those, isn't it? 3-2. So those guys have got to be careful for the last 45 minutes. But it still could go either way. Although East Coast have been the better team, 32% possession in the Racers' defensive third. Yeah, I fancy East Coast to get a goal if they keep performing this week. I don't know if Racers will be able to hold out.
Yeah, the East Coast side generally is that bit stronger, but Racers have had more of the ball in the first half. And if you keep the ball off the opposition, you're not going to let them get the chances.
No, that's right. It's probably just about keeping 11 men on the pitch. I like the Racers team. I think it's a good idea to have the Welsh guys in together. And they're showing a lot of unity and teamwork.
They certainly are. I don't think they need to make any half-time changes here. Maybe it'll be a bit concerning to both Hopkins and Dimble that Robbie Savage has had the shot on target for the Racers.
And no yellow card.
Yes, yeah, he's actually playing reasonably well. Bonk with 25 passes compared to Salva's 7, Luis Enrique's 5. He's not been as involved as maybe Dimble might have hoped, but he's still, he's still a good player in any position, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably just been dribbling it rather than passing it. So yeah, I mean, there's still things that can happen for this team. Again, there's only really Bonk playing well. So if we start seeing a couple of 8s in the game from either team, that's probably the team that's going to take all 3 points.
We'll see in the second half. We've got 15 minutes till the substitutes coming up. And the second half has begun with a lot of text to follow, and that's a chance that's gone there just over the bar in the end. Salva's had a chance now. And again, so he's been a bit wasteful, hasn't he, Salva, at this point?
So far, but he was quite good last week, wasn't he?
He was indeed. And Okoronkwo, I believe, has scored the opening goal for the game. And Lee Boy, with a terrible effort, brings us to our substitutes. I'll have to go back and look at that Okoronkwo goal a bit later on. Like I say, I was distracted by the incoming substitutes at that point, to my surprise, with the goal. Wacky Racers, Ryan Giggs at 80%. He's got an injury. I think that he'd be one of them to come off. Obviously, he's managed the subs. And then maybe one of the centre-backs, knowing what happened with Cannavaro earlier.
Yeah, they're not playing well either, are they? So Giggs off Kumas, yeah, I think that's fair. Then I'd probably take Melville off out of the 2 because Coleman's the better player, isn't he? And
Page over Gabidon?
I think so, because Rob Page has his 97, 98 connections, so he's been an excellent player, whereas Gabidon's not quite as strong, I don't think, on the game. So yeah, I'd bring Page on for Melville.
There we are. Melville.
Partridge doing well with an 8.
Yeah, he's coming and he's performing. They're just that goal down now, though, aren't they? So hopefully, for their sake, they can keep the score low and hit back on the attack later on. But for East Coast, I mean, we can see here that Edgar Davids is probably needing to come off at this point at 75%.
Yeah, you don't want him going to tackles tired days. He's going to pick up a second yellow.
On a yellow card there, the substitute there will be Zay Elias today. And it's a case here of, I mean, we do have a few players who are down on fitness. Roy Keane with an injury, but then we've got the 2 yellow cards as well. It is only to be 2 substitutes.
Is there any other management instructions other than 2?
It's a make 2 subs. Players, if they're bad or low on condition. In fact, there's nothing to do with bookings. So I think Roy Keane with his injuries probably needing to come off here, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd take Keane off with a knee injury. Anything like knee or groin, and anything like that could be a few weeks, if not. I mean, that's probably why you'd go for 2, isn't it? And then if there is a red card, if for any unfortunate reason, you've still got a 3rd sub to make.
Then obviously the consideration now is it a slightly unfit Tomasi who's still fitter than Roy Keane, or is it move Lee Bowyer and to bring on Kili Gonzalez and move Luis Enrique over?
I'd just stick Tomasi straight in for him, only because Boyer's got that yellow card, so I'd keep him out of the defensive midfield.
Yeah, that would make good sense there. So the 2 substitutes there, both in the defensive midfield positions, Zay Elias and Tomasi. So a couple more. Certainly Zay Elias is a walking card, isn't he? At this point, we'll see how the final half hour to the game goes. Savage has been coming forward, and Tomasi takes the card straight away.
The wrong one there.
I did. I almost said both of them, and then thought, no, he won't do. And there he goes. Salva coming forward again. He is a lively player, isn't he, Salva? I've not seen a lot of him on the game, and he's doing a good job in this league.
Yeah, he's creates lots of chances, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. We've got a yellow card there for John Terry. I mean, the team have got 5, but they're still just edging the game out here and looking to close it out. But the Racers are still coming forward, and Salva puts another one wide. And full time, I don't think Racers will be disappointed, and I think East Coast might be relieved.
Yeah, it was a good game. I think you can tell that East Coast were in a game against Racers. I thought Racers played really well. Page came off the bench to get an 8. East Coast had both defensive midfield subs on an 8 as well. So the people who've come in have kept it tight, and East Coast have shaded it, and they deserve to win. I think on reflection, but Racers, I'd be pleased with that performance if I were the Racers manager, because I think they kept themselves in it. They kept the discipline as well towards the end of the game. It was East Coast that I think, was it 5-3 in bookings in the end?
Yeah, I think it was, and yes, we did call it on the referee. He's definitely living up to his name, isn't he? If we look into this, we've got Keon's slide tackle on Giggs gets Barijo going, and he's chipped it to Okoronkwo, who's ran past Chris Coleman and Davies and smashed it in. Now, that's a great goal.
Yeah, it's probably goal of the season so far, isn't it? Well, certainly in that game.
Goal of the season in that game. Yes, yeah. I think you're probably about right.
I didn't want to make too bold a call.
We are going to make sure we do check the match reports on goals from now on, following a request from me. David Partridge, great performance there for his start filling in. And Paul Jones has done well. Robert Page has come on and staked his claim for a start, I think. So Barijo, man of the match, without necessarily tearing the world apart. He's had I can't really understand. Obviously, the assist is probably the reason why he's taken man of the match.
Yeah, he's played well. He's won a tackle, key tackle, and you can see from Okoronkwo and Terry and Nick Matulin were on the eights that the Racers were in the game, and Tomasi and TLS in defensive midfield position. So it's closer than the stats suggest, maybe, and I think it was a tight finish really in the end.
Yeah, and Okoronkwo's goal is worthy of winning that match. It's
worthy of any match, isn't
it? Definitely so. 2 substitutes claiming 8s there. Fantastic. We've got, I think, just the 1 game to go, and it is your match, and you're up against UN Rovers today. Team-wise, you've had to make 2 changes to your lineup, I think. Is that right? Or is it just the one?
Yeah, Saeed, I can't remember if he's injured or suspended, to be honest. So I think he's injured, isn't he? So he's come out for Dieter Else, who's going to add a bit of experience into that defensive midfield position. And I've dropped Nicky Ferenko back into centre mid because Kenny Lunt's only at 96%. So I've brought David Collins at 100% off the bench. So I think this might be his first start. And then I'm keeping Raul Estevez in the team so far, but I was toying with putting Javan in instead of Estevez, so I'm going to give Estevez a start in this game. We'll see how he turns out, and if he's not performing, then he'll be hooked, and Javan will come on.
Of course, the bold claim for me that you might have made 1 change. Of course, you've brought in an Atalakis as well into the centre back.
Yeah, I've had a little spell with Olympiacos this week, and Atalakis played fairly well in it. He's pretty decent. He doesn't look. He's got some good stats and some not so good stats. Not so pacey, but he's only replacing Marvin Andrews, who's probably similar. So Andrews wasn't particularly fit in 96%. So again, 100%, bring him in.
It's a ban for three yellow cards there for Saeed already in his first 4 games. Let's hope that your managerial spell at Fortuna lasts a little bit longer than your brief spell at Olympiacos this week. Squad number wise for Vance Warner?
Number 6.
Number 6, advanced warning. There we go. For UN Rovers, why change a team that is doing okay? They're lacking fitness, but they haven't made any changes to their lineup today.
They drew with Iron Curtain, didn't they? Was it 2-2 last time? So I wouldn't have changed if I got a draw against Iron Curtain. I'd be pleased with that result. I think the only thing that we could possibly target as the opposition is Shellstrom on 86%. So hopefully he will.
Yeah, he's hopefully going to for your sake.
90 minutes, but
yeah,
a few stars scattered in there, but the other ones have played really well too. So it's not going to be an easy game by any stretch. I'd be happy to come away with 3 points today, but I won't be too disappointed with a draw against this lot.
No, I mean Matthew Blinkhorn, his that 10 that he got in the recent performance was outstanding. In the match against Flamingos, of course, yeah, he just took it to them and dominated the game. It's been a mixed bag, to lose by 1 goal to Badgers isn't bad at all, really, is it? To lose to the Wanderers at 3-1 as well with their performances this season. Yeah, they've done a decent job for a team that is essentially Hyde United and a few others.
Yeah, I don't underestimate them by any stretch. They've pushed the good teams in the league. So I say I'd be delighted if we can come away with 3 points, but I'll quite happily take a draw at this point.
Am I right in thinking that this is Shettle Silence second game of the day?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's coming in refereeing 2 matches, and we kick off, and immediately Fortuna on the attack, and it's been mostly yellow. He changes a bit to pink, and back again. It's a bit of end-to-end stuff going on at the moment. Penalty saved by David Day. I think it might have been a Blinkhorn penalty. I'm not sure, but it's been a save regardless.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened. I just saw it was saved. I don't know if Rob Naco gave it away with his 5.
We'll take a look at the match report at half-time. Yeah, it's been end-to-end without massive chances, but apart from that penalty save for Day.
Yeah, and it's quieting down since, hasn't
it? Quieting down from... It couldn't have been a much faster start, to be honest. We're coming 10 minutes in towards the end of the half. Carlos Jacks with a chance. And he's getting a bit more involved than usual. Collins with a chance again. The goalkeeper, Kalkvist, is performing pretty well in goal. And to get to half-time, no goals, but there has been a bit of action. And we're going to go to that match report straight away to see what's happened with the penalty.
I'd like to think it was someone like Saviola, but it was Blinkhorn. Yeah,
it was a push. So as Laurie's passed it back to Vieira, Critchley's played it back to John O'Kane, who's played the ball into the area, and a push over from Rovneko on Saviola. Yep, you did claim that it was going to be him with his rating, but a save, and he gathered the penalty after it was running loose. Check the match stats first, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been end to end, like you say, and they've had the best chance, obviously, from the penalty spot. But I'm not too disappointed with our performance so far. We just need to get a couple more shots on target. We've had 4 corners to 0, so we're holding our own. But they've looked the most like the scoring so far. So I'm happy to get to this point at 0-0 and still in the game.
Number-wise, it's particularly interesting with 3s and 0s, apart from that number there spoiling it, and then 4s and 2s around here. So, you know, for the number watchers out there, you've had a bit of a treat in that first half. A lot of game in the middle of the pitch, possession even, and Fortuna, yeah, we did see them attacking that a little bit more. Ewan have come back into it a little bit, but it has been a fairly even game. With Charlstrom there at 77, he's a bit precarious. There are 4. I'm just checking for Ewan Rovers with their substitute plans. Is to manage the game. I think we'll get him to 60 minutes. If he started so low, might as well get to 60 minutes and see how he's going then. And for Fortuna, how do you see your first half being?
Yeah, we've not been too bad. Obviously, Anatolaki's coming into the team. He's not quite bedded in yet, but I think he looks like he's possibly picked up an injury at 83%.
That's quite possible. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to leave him out there on an injury. At this point, I'll bring on Marvin Andrews rather than anyone else. And then the only other question mark for fitness was Collins looking a bit ropey.
No, he's sat in row P, I believe, at the moment. Yeah, he's there. We are.
Oh, no, he's doing all right, I think.
Oh yeah, he's doing okay. Do you want to check anything else, or are you ready to go?
No, we'll go to 60 minutes now. So if we've not got a goal by then, I might look at bringing Javan on.
Yep, it's been a day for Javan, hasn't it, so far, for this few performances.
Pleased with Ilts' performance. So Ilts is doing well, and Shalkvist and O'Kane doing well for the others in defence. So
yeah, John O'Kane, impressed, and yeah, Ilts chipping in with a good performance into the second half, and the quieter start compared to the first half. Blinkhorn with a chance and a save from David Day, or David Day as I called him early on as well. We're going to a yellow card and a goal for Charlstrom. He does manage to score. He's too busy concentrating on the yellow card, and then we are with a goal from the least fit player on the pitch. I don't think they'll be taking him off.
No, I mean it's international break, I guess, isn't it? He's still probably well enough to reach the end of the game. He's got an 8 and a goal, so I mean I'd take him off, but I'm the opposition manager, so yeah, it's probably best to leave him on.
The substitute, I mean Blinkhorn, Blinkhorn for Hulse. Hulse came on and did a good job last time round. He did score, but Blinkhorn on a 6 and slightly unfit would need to be the substitute here. Shellstrom to leave on. It's a case of whether it's anybody who is particularly strong here. I think that Carl Lorry at his 80% would be best off coming off for Milligan, who came on and did a decent job last game. So it will be that substitute there. Yeah, I won't let you guide the opposition into substitutes there. Shellstrom, he might as well continue to the end of the game. For yourself, Rovneko still on the 5.
Yeah, he's not doing so well, is he? I think I'm going to have to take Estevez off just for his booking, really, for Javan. And then I'm gonna leave it as is, really, just with the 2 subs on there, just in case. But hopefully that might be enough to get us back into it.
We shall see. And Ewan leading the game with half an hour to go. They come forward again. Saviola's had a chance. He's getting a bit more dangerous. Javan's come on, had the shot straight away, and Kalkvist call into action. They're coming into the last 15 minutes. Jürgen Kohler with a chance, but to no avail so far. Ewan still leading the way as we come into those last 5 minutes. The game's really quieting down. And a full-time whistle of 1-0. John O'Kane, man of the match.
Yeah, and ended on a bit of a whimper, really, from our team's perspective. But I think Ewan deserved the victory. They were the better team on the whole. Like you say, O'Kane, man of the match, just shows we did have a few chances and he had to defend well. But I think they deserve it on the balance of play, really.
They are, certainly on the basis of their results this season, they're outperforming what we might have expected.
Yeah, they've got some quality players in there, haven't they? And even the guys who are not the best in terms of ability and potential are holding their own so far. So they seem to be a real good team and putting in some good performances.
Definitely. So let's take a look at the goal. So it's as a result of Estevez's yellow card. It's come forward. Vieira's done a decent job, played it into Rimmer, and Rimmer's looked for Blinkhorn, but Shellstrom's collected it and put it in. So, was that a misplaced pass that's worked, or has he intercepted his own teammate and gone for it? But, worth it. A good goal there, and he's managed to stay on and perform reasonably well there. Yep, John O'Kane, man of the match. Goalkeeper's done well, and the defence have performed better than the attack for Ewan, and it shows with the clean sheet.
Yeah, we've not scored too many in the last few games. I don't know if we've even troubled the score sheet, really. So that's a problem we'll need to look at for our team. But when the defence plays as well as that for the opposition, then you're not going to score too many goals. We had a 5 in defence, and Rovneko just got back to a 6 by the end. So there's no one really who's played well apart from our goalkeeper and Dieter Alts in defensive mid.
Yeah, you'll be fairly pleased with the veteran's performance there in the match to come on and fill in for Saeed.
Yeah, he's done well. He's a quality player, but it's obviously you'd rather have Saeed in your team as well. But Alts has shown his quality there.
Well, he started off with loads of goals and ended up with a match with 1. So we did go from top to bottom in our goals, didn't we? Was that the second match, Phoenix and Badgers?
May well be. I think East Coast was the second last match with 1 as well, wasn't it? So it's just probably watch the first part of the video.
Yeah. To anyone watching now, you just needed to have watched the first part. Let's go into the table and see how that's affected things. East Coast leading the way by a point, only conceded 2 goals in their 5 matches. The table now, after 5 games, you can think it's worth having a look at, isn't it? Halls and Badgers following up, and there's 6 teams who've hit 10 points from the first 5 games. Anyone particularly impressing you?
Well, I think the position in the table really reflects how good people have been. Even from Wanderers of Wolverhampton in 5th position, they had a great performance today. Trafford are a strong team out there, but Badgers have last couple of games since they've had that formation change, they've performed really well and shut the game up early doors. There's a lot of teams conceding a lot of goals, so I'm just looking at my team. Although we're not scoring too many, we've only conceded 5 in the 5 games. So We've only scored 1 in our last 4, which isn't so good. But hopefully we can keep the conceding to a minimum, really. And I think that's going to make the big difference in the league for everyone else. Is just shutting up shop, really. And whoever gets the defence right could end up walking the league.
Whoever gets the defence right could end up walking the league. If you look
Except
at
Fortuna, just to be clear.
Yeah, I mean, positive goal difference in 11th place, a point ahead of the bottom 3 in its early stages. Racers, they've had a bit of bad luck so far. Madrid just can't seem to buy a point at the moment, despite their team being fairly decent, and there must be some hope for them. And Flamingos, it's now, I mean, the goal average is coming down very, very slightly at this point.
Yeah, I think Racers have been lucky because they've played fairly well in the games, and Imagine Madrid have a good team as well. So I think that they could certainly get out of there if they put a couple of performances together. But yeah, Flamingos look doomed early on, don't they? But they'll come into it as the season progresses.
That's interesting that this week they've decided to not bother with the team of the week, despite the fact there've been matches on Wednesday and on Saturday. So that's of interest there.
No one really played that well, did they? I think they only had 8, and really.
So they've just decided not to go for one. Giovanni Elbert on 8.8 from his 5 games, 4 goals, 2 assists, 2 man of the matches. He's really on form. And Neil Scally, Arkadiusz Bonk, Mason Javan, and Andrei Shevchenko completing the top 5 there. Sergio performing well for Hulls. Hulls are getting some really good performers, as are Badgers. And East Coast getting a few into that top section. Goals wise, Javan from the Wanderers, 3 goals clear after only 5 games. And he's also there in the top 5 for Badgers. Yeah, he's looking positive. Neil Critchley in there for UN Rovers in the top 15 as it stands. Penalty wise, we've had Junior scoring 2 in a game, and the other ones there, so if you take a penalty and miss and don't score any at all, you don't even go onto the list. With what's happened there, Mostovoy with 5 assists in his first 5 games. He's keeping Iron Curtain in some games. And the other stats here, yellow cards, Roy Keane, 5 from 4 games.
That's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, he's really good value for money in that stakes there. So Dave Barnett will be serving a suspension if he hasn't done already. Emerson, Davids, I think he's just about to do his now because he's got his 3rd book in this game. So there'll be a few suspensions next time out. We've got quite a few players who've picked up those ones. And the red cards, we got 1 red card this round, didn't we, for Cannavaro?
We did, yeah. But he got a goal, so
yeah, it cancels it all out, doesn't it? Man of the matches, Elbert, Bonk, and Javan, all with 2. So we just take a quick look at the fixtures for next time round, which is 10 days time for the teams. They don't have a weekend game, so after that international round, there's still a bit of time to recover for all players. We've got a relegation battle of Flamingos versus Racers, and other than that, I mean, the big game that stands out there is Badgers and Hulls, 3rd versus 2nd.
Yeah, that'll be a real good game. Both teams have been performing well in recent weeks, so if somebody can win that one, that'll put them in a good position. But Trafford and Ewan should be a good game, 6th versus 7th, and Alumwell against Wanderers, 8th and 5th as well. These teams could swap places, so yeah, real good fixture list looking like.
Yeah, certainly. No games that don't attract the attention. Actually, looking very, very good. Well, thank you very much to Quinton.
Thank you.
And hope to see you again on this soon. And thank you for everyone for watching. And we'll see you again next time. Goodbye.